Oh, oops.
Oops, we're live. Hey, thanks for joining another episode of Playing the Artist. This is a podcast show where we talk about, trying to play the artist. My name is Antoine Marchildon, and joined as always is handsome, charismatic, energetic Alex. Kolakowski.
Thanks,
How you
buddy.
doing, bud?
I'm good. I thought it'd be hard to wake up today, but it was pretty easy, actually.
Me too.
Yeah, getting used to it. Tuesday. My Tuesday bio clock is dialed in, my man. Tuesday a.m. I mean, I'm still lethargic and boring, but maybe that can't be helped,
Yeah,
So
maybe.
anyway, let's get on with the show. Every
your
time I
week?
start, I'm like, what is my thing to say here?
What's your week? How's your week?
My week. It was good. I mean, I started my vacation, so I'm pretty happy about it.
Oh, when did it start?
Started, I guess, I don't know. I did a full week last week, so I guess started on Saturday.
Oh, dude, fantastic.
So
what have you been doing?
Oh man, that's a good question. Well, it's the holidays here, so I've been like setting up. We got a tree going. We got presents wrapped. Got all kinds of stuff like that. I mean, I still don't have everybody's presents purchased and stuff. And I don't know. I'm not going to go into like the one person who watches this show is like probably my mom or something. So I'm not going to. I don't know. Probably shouldn't talk about what presents I got her.
All right.
Who cares, anyways? Are you doing Christmas shopping?
I didn't get anybody anything this year.
There you go. You usually always buy me a present.
So you better not have got me anything this year because I'll feel bad because I didn't get you anything.
Okay, that's fine. You don't have to. You never did. But
this year it's just off work and whatnot. I'm just like, you know what? I don't need to buy anybody anything this year. They can miss a year.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's that kind of Christmas.
They can miss a year. Have you been taking it easy? You weren't crunching at work, have you?
No, man. I was on the way out. I was handing the baton of leadership over to Oscar, who is a coworker of mine who's been, been with the team for a while, and he's got some good leadership skills. So I was hands off, and
so
the mess
still going then, eh?
What's that?
The studio's still going then, eh?
Oh yeah, we're going at least for I'd say we have a solid 8 months before anybody should be going anywhere, as far as I know.
So you're telling me there's going to be people working on Christmas?
Yeah, well, not on Christmas Day, but people are working this week and then 2 days into next week. And I actually I didn't even book the 2 days before Christmas because it's awkward. Like Christmas is like a Wednesday or something, so we're working Monday.
Yeah,
and Tuesday.
Next Wednesday is Christmas, my dude.
But dude, I like a slow day before work when everybody or before Christmas when everyone's on vacation.
Yeah,
and you can actually get stuff done if you want to. It's so calm that those are it's my favorite day of the year with regards to like a work day. It's like right before Christmas because it's so quiet.
It's strange.
So I have 10 days off, and then I work 2 days, and then I have like another 10 days or something like that. Yeah, that's the way I did it this year. And it's also like Sam's schedule too. Like she works weird hours working at the hospital. She works a lot during Christmas, so it just kind of worked out for me to have like 2 days off in the middle of a big stretch. 2 days on in the middle of a big stretch. So I guess it's been holidays time. I had a wedding to go to yesterday. So
who got married?
Dave Lamb.
Do I know him?
Also another PVZ artist, the most senior artist on the team, I would say. He's finally getting married. You met Dave. He's the guy who plays chess with you and who
Dave. Okay, sorry.
yells at you.
Yells at me.
Yeah. I don't know. He yells at everybody.
He doesn't yell at me.
Okay. Well, no, I don't mean yell in that he's like berates you. I just mean yell in that he speaks loudly.
Ah, like me.
Yeah. Kind of bellows at one.
Even my mom would always call me loudmouth.
Yeah.
Right, Mom? I'm at my parents right now.
Yeah.
Fathead, she'd call me too.
Fathead.
Yeah, fathead. if I was being annoying, she would call me fathead. But yeah. No, man. So that's good. Sounds like you're taking it easy.
Yeah, man. I want to be doing more art because you think, oh, it's time off. I'm gonna just like crush it, but it's been kind of here and there, and
it's hard, eh?
Yeah, man. It's still hard to find the time, because
I'm telling you, the morning routine is like I think it's the best. When you get up early and you just like sink in an hour or 2 hours of work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because there's just like nobody's up, no one's there to bother you. It's just you. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I really feel up in the morning, your, I guess creativity muscle. I don't know if that's a muscle or something, or just like, I don't know, like your pool of energy of thinking and working is a lot higher, I feel.
Mm-hmm.
For me anyways. And I feel like in that 2 hour window, I get a lot of done. I get like, I'm going to say like 50% of the work done of the day. Like if let's say I have a day of just like if I'm back in Vancouver and I just have a regular day, I try to shoot for 6 hours. Usually it's 4, a bad day it's 2. But if I usually get 6, 50% of the work is done in that 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like big spike, and then throughout the day it goes down. You know what I mean? So,
yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, when you're sleeping, you're literally recharging your batteries. So in the morning,
exactly.
It's when you've got your full battery. Because the human body is really, has a lot in common with a battery. Apparently, biochemically.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Have you tried that at all? Because you usually work at night. You always talk about.
Yeah, I don't know.
Tried switching that around.
Come alive. Yeah, my problem is the whole getting out of bed thing. That's the hard part.
I think you might just have to force it, dude, man. You know what I mean?
I know. But yeah, you have to just like kind of roll over and sit up a little bit, and that's where I fail.
Well, you just have to have like I think like triggers. There's like people use the word in a negative term, a trigger, right? I think for me anyways, I have triggers to like try to get me up, you know what I mean? Or like little routine things where it's like, if I do this thing or if I listen to this music, like what I'll usually try to listen to is like, that lo-fi chill music that's like just like randomly playing, you know what I mean? It's like always on YouTube. I'll just kind of pop that on to get things going. And it puts me in kind of a trance because it's just kind of like beats, right? It's just kind of noise and there's a rhythm, right? And before you know it, I'm up and going on the work. Once like an hour of that or like 30 minutes of that passes, then I start listening to a little bit of other stuff, So it's kind of little routine stuff where it's like when that music's on, it's like it's time to work because that's the only time I listen to it is when I start work. So it's like it's kind of like I know it's like starting the vehicle. The first thing you got to do is check your mirrors and you do the little routine right before you and then you buckle up and then you start, you know what I mean? There's like a little routine before you drive. So like it takes me a couple minutes to get started, but then before you know it, then I get started. Then those 2 hours are up and then I go do dishes or do some like cleaning around the house just to like get out of my seat because after like 2 hours or like even an hour of sitting down, you got to like move your body around a bit.
Yeah,
So,
it doesn't take long. Yeah, yeah, I hear you. I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna try playing some kind of music, some kind of song, like in the beginning of a Metallica concert. You know, they always play that song. And,
what's that song?
Something I have to Google it. The Road of Gold.
It's all good.
It's from Dirty Harry, I think.
Dirty Harry.
Making shit up.
Are you talking about? Oh no, are you talking about The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly?
Yeah, that one.
Okay. Clint Eastwood. So great pinball machine, by the way. Dirty Harry. It's a pinball machine. It's a good.
Ecstasy of Gold. That's what it's called.
Ecstasy of Gold. That's like overload of like desires right there.
Isn't it? Yeah.
Like, get over yourself. You want ecstasy and gold? Jeepers.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
demanding.
What else do you want? Like a bag of Doritos?
Wow, that's a little. That's a little low class, but for the hillbillies, that's fine cuisine right there.
Yeah.
I had some off-brand Doritos a couple days ago.
Doritos. That's great.
Old Dutch. They have their own brand like version of Doritos.
Of all the things in the world that have like knockoffs, Dorito chips, that style, that triangle cheesy powdered nacho chip has the biggest drop off in quality when you start going aftermarket. Like, man, like Coke or Pepsi, and then some other colas. It's like, okay, it starts to degrade as you go more obscure. But I can tell, like a Dorito chip, you go down to like an old Dutch Ariba style.
That's it, Ariba.
It's just tastes like vomit in your mouth.
That's funny.
You don't know whether to spit it out or just choke it back down. And you keep eating that bag. I've eaten a lot of those chips.
Yeah, dude. Enough about chips. We got to talk about art. Being an artist. Well, I guess that's a part of being an artist is eating.
Yeah. Yeah.
Eating.
Yeah, man. Like, I'm starting to find the time more, I think, as like these days off, I think like when you're first on days off and you're like, I'm going to sleep in, I'm working so much, I just want to sleep the fuck in. And then you sleep away, sleep until like 11, and a lot of your productive time is gone at that moment. So I was feeling kind of just a bit, I don't know, just like dumpy about it. And Sam and I went to Costco to get some groceries and stuff, and I was just kind of grumpy the whole time because like I could do my art, felt out of balance, go for a jog that day. And Costco is also like the worst place in the universe
because everybody's always there at every time of the day.
Oh my god, the lineups are just, you can't even park without waiting in a line. You got to camp out. Man, I saw like an old lady there who bought like 3 bags of chips. That was it. Like, who goes to Costco to buy 3 bags of chips? It's like 2 hours of your life is gone.
That's what upset it. That's what upsetted you. You're just in there. Why is this lady here? She shouldn't be here.
God. Yeah, like for your own, like not just because you're just adding to like the humanity that's here. Like, how is the parking lot at Costco just? It's not like they have small parking lots, but like it's like Walmart and Superstore have like probably smaller parking lots, but there's usually a stall somewhere. But Costco is like this. It's like you're waiting for Star Wars to come out just to park there. It's like there's a lineup of people camping.
Nobody camps out for Star Wars anymore.
No.
But no, it's
ended in episode 1. Actually, it probably didn't, but it should have.
I was gonna say, no, that's what you just said there. I've experienced that many times where if you don't do something where it's like a little win at the beginning of the day, for me anyways, like if I don't like do my exercise or like be productive and like clean something or like take care of like an email or whatever, like just things I got to do, especially in the morning.
Yeah.
I find it harder throughout the day to like give a, I wouldn't say give a shit, but just like to like act
Yeah.
on other things, right? You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's kind of
Yeah.
like if I do the exercise in the morning, or like or do some work in the morning, that's like a small win. And then throughout the day, it's like,
Mhm.
oh, I did this thing, I could do this thing. It's like it's
Yeah.
the more success like if you start the day with a little success, that can stack real quick, right?
Yeah.
And that's vice
Productivity
versa.
snowballs.
You can flip that, right? Where it's like you start the
Mhm.
day in like sleeping in and not brushing your teeth and not going for your jog, and like now you have to go do
Mhm.
groceries, and now you're like, there's a bazillion people here. Why is this lady buying 3 bags of chips? She doesn't need to be here right now. And then you get home, you're like, I don't want to do anything. And then
Yeah.
you look at the dishes and you're like, I don't do those fucking dishes, right?
Yep.
So
Yeah.
so
Starting to get
it's
up to the win.
yeah. So and even if it's like the bare minimum where it's like make your bed, you know what I mean? Like even that is a win. You know what I mean? And it might happen where it's like just a week of just making your bed. That's like your only win. But it's like uh, before you know it, that's going to be a habit, and it's going to be kind of like ingrained in you. And then it's like, this is what I do now, right?
Mhm.
And so it just kind of what is it in Greek philosophy? It's like uh, what is it? It's do the thing that you want to become, essentially, right? So it's like if you want to be a bodybuilder, it's like, well, you have to work out, and if you want to be a happy person, you do things that make you happy, right?
Yeah. That's a
And
hard
that's
one. You can't
well,
just do things that happy people do, because then you'll be. You can't just go like join a choir or something like that.
no. What I mean by happiness, I just mean like when I clean my apartment, I'm not doing it because in the moment it makes me happy. Afterwards, it makes me happy because I'm like, ah, yes, I have a clean bathroom. There's it's nice to have a clean toilet, and you know what I mean? Like,
Sure is.
like the afterwards thing, right? If you do the things that do give you happiness, right? Like spending time with your friends, or doing working on that project that you wanting to work on, right? Just
Yeah.
if you kind of touch on those and like practice those things, that will just give you inherently more happiness, right? It's all about the doing the thing, right? It's not about talking the thing.
Man, there's nothing worse than having a dirty toilet. You
Oh
just
yeah.
you don't want to sit on it. It's covered in hair. You like when you're taking a whiz, you stand a little further back, and then your aim gets worse, and it just like dog piles. And
All right, this got gross real quick. Saskatchewan sun's out.
dude, yeah,
Uh,
that's awesome.
yeah. Oh, you know what I noticed here in Saskatchewan? So I was like thinking, like in video games or like film and stuff like that, there's this. Look at my shiny head, eh? Jeepers.
Did you just shave it recently or something? Or it's just this?
Not even. It's just the sun is just blaring. Look at this mullen of mine. Anyways, um, like nuclear fallout, like nuclear like winter
Yeah,
essentially, or something like, you know what I mean? Like it's like there's that idea of like you can't go outside unless you have your hazmat suit on, right?
yeah,
Well, in Saskatchewan during the winter, it's like your skidoo boots and a good jacket and long johns. If you don't have those, that's like your hazmat suit. If you don't have those, you're gonna be in a rough situation, man, because it's
yeah.
freaking
It's like a
cold here.
toxic environment.
Yeah. And not just that, when nightfall comes and the sun is set, it's like where I live, it's
Yeah.
pitch black. Like there's no lights at all. And
Mhm.
I just sometimes I'll be in my house, I'll be in the house here, and I'll be staring out the window of the porch, and it's just darkness. Just pitch black. And it's just
Yeah.
like, my God. Like thank God it's not just woods, because they would just be rampant with wolves and bears. You know what I mean? Because I live in farm area, right? So it's like just fields.
Yeah,
But,
totally. Like,
but even that is terrifying because you just hear the wind, like, and you just know it's just frozen death out there.
yeah, if you're
Barren.
not up on your Canadian geography, like Saskatchewan is the one province that's like it's all farmland, it's all flat.
Yeah.
It's like the one like you most provinces have like an interesting shape, like like BC is kind of a boot shape because there's mountains and topology.
Yeah.
Like Saskatchewan is just a rectangle shape because it's just
It is.
flat,
It's literally a rectangle.
like on a map, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you get to Saskatchewan from Alberta, and you just want to like fast travel in Skyrim to through Manitoba as well.
Yeah.
Straight to Ontario at that point.
Yeah. Oh man, I had a crazy dream not too long ago, like a couple days ago. I was walking through a house. I don't know whose house it was, but it was pitch black and there was only a little bit of light around me. Kind of like, you know, in video games the character has a light on their shoulder and it just kind of lights around them a bit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's like pitch black. Kind of like Resident Evil or Silent Hill kind of thing, old school Silent Hill. And I was walking in this house, and all around me, like everywhere, it was just bear traps. Just bear traps everywhere, and I was just slowly walking around them, just being careful, just slowly walking around them. And then I woke up and I had a stomach ache.
That's crazy.
I don't know, weird. It was weird. It was interesting. But
something.
yeah,
That was a weird dream. Sometimes you have weird food.
Yeah, I think it was. But no, I was just talking about Saskatchewan and the frozen wastelands of Saskatchewan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Need to find a bunker somewhere.
For sure. But hey, I'm in the middle of the fourth model, and then I have 3 left. I'm behind schedule, but that's a given because I've been hanging out with family members and friends and stuff like that, and and all that jazz. And so it's coming to it's like the hole is getting smaller and smaller. You know what I mean? It's like the hourglass. It's just like it's getting down to the final grains of sand.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
How's that laptop treating you? You able to be
pretty good?
Fairly productive?
Pretty productive. There's some days are off days and some days are good days. Like today, I got like 10 minutes. I got 10 minutes of work in before the podcast here, and then I'll keep going with some more modeling.
Mm-hmm.
And that's pretty much it. Like I said, like we talked about this last week, where it's just like now it's like just got to do the work. Like everything's all there, and I just have to do the renders. I just got to do the screenshots. I just got to do the write-ups, and I just got to finish these models.
Mm-hmm.
And that's about it. You know,
that's cool.
So yeah, and then get that all done so I can get it approved, and then like we talked about last week, do a 3-week campaign.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like every day, just putting it out there and just kind of being like, you know, this thing, you know.
Yeah.
Like I saw what some people do on Instagram. They'll put it in their stories. Like they'll every day they'll put a countdown on their stories.
Oh, that's cool.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then they'll post I think every second day they'll post, or every third day they'll post on their Instagram about hey, this how many days left for the campaign. But in between that, they'll also just post beauty shots and stuff like that, and just things to look forward, you know, all that jazz. So I'll be doing that on Instagram, and then also posting stuff, not as frequent, but I'll be posting on the forums on the Reddits, and then once it does become released, I'll also post my free samples. I want at least 3 samples, 3 free samples. And I want to post them out, I want to spread them out. You know what I mean? So there's the first one, and then maybe a week will pass by, and there'll be that one, and then another week will pass by, and it'll be that one during the campaign.
Are these freebies taken from stuff you've already modeled, or are these things that you're still modeling now? Are they separate from your library that you currently have that you're offering?
Yeah.
Or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, like those free models, I'm going to make them not limited. Like they won't be up forever. Like they'll only be up. I'll make it very clear, and I'll blast it out there and say like, hey, these free models are going to only be up as long as the campaign is. So get them while they're up.
Yeah.
To just to get urgency to get people to the Kickstarter page. You know.
Well, have you thought about doing like a early bird backer experience?
Yeah, I'm doing that.
That's cool. I really love. Like, I saw some board game do it where they had like, oh, if you pledge the first week or whatever.
Look at my face right now. My God.
You get this like figure. Yeah, you're nuclear, man.
Told you, nuclear wasteland out there. Yeah, I'll get a little closer, get out of the sun there. Ugh. But yeah, no, I'm still deciding if I want to do a week or do 48 hours.
Yeah, I've seen people do like 24, 48 hours, which seems pretty extreme, but
yeah,
hey, man.
But it's
exclusive for a reason.
Well, they say that what happens is the first 48 is like your best time, and then the last 48 is your best time in Kickstarters. You know what I mean? Where it's like when your Kickstarter opens up, it does really well, and then when it ends, then it starts picking up again. So yeah. So you want people to you want to try to push for that initial 48 hours, right? So it makes sense to have the early bird thing 48 hours. But like it depends though, like because this is very different because this is a digital download thing, so I don't know what's the logistics on it at all. But I don't know. We'll see. I still haven't decided yet. I'll probably end up doing a week, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like Kickstarter just is able to send you just like a spreadsheet of which people backed when and for what and how much, and then you just organize that your own way. Yeah, so I don't know. I think it sounds great. I think it's an awesome thing to do. It's like I don't know, because it's fun to get people in there early, and because like when you're backing a Kickstarter, it's nice to back one that other people agree. It's like, oh yeah, other people believe in this too. It's not just like if I see a project that looks kind of like interesting, but 9 people backed it, it's like a red flag. It's like, okay, what's going on here? Why have only 9 people backed this? And maybe I don't know. Maybe there's no exposure or something like. But for whatever the reason is, it's just not as appealing. You feel like you're kind of, why are you spending time on something like this? It's like not really going to go anywhere.
Yeah. So, I know what you mean.
Yeah, hit it early if you can. That's awesome. Have you thought about taking out any ads, like pay to win?
Pay to win. That's not paying.
I don't think I should even paint it in such a negative light. Like
well, I need to. The only way to get Google ads is you have to have Facebook, and we all know how that ended up in previous.
What about like Instagram?
Facebook. Oh, let me finish. If you can get Google ads on Facebook, or if you have a website, because it needs a directory.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Okay.
So
like it goes somewhere.
Essentially, yeah.
I think you can use your Kickstarter as that.
You think so? I'll have to Google that.
I'm pretty sure I've seen links that take me directly to somebody's Kickstarter.
Okay.
You can swing that. That'd be the best.
Yeah.
But maybe you can only do that when you have like a launched page and somewhere for people to actually go. Like, can you? Yeah. There's got to be a state before you're actually live where people can hang out on your, or peruse your Kickstarter.
Yeah.
I don't know about this stuff. Like, I've never done one before. I only just look at them.
Hey, buddy. Neither have I.
Yeah.
I think a big chunk of like my outreach is going to be my my Thingiverse page. Because I don't have a big following, but it's I do get downloads on my models, so people do like my models.
Yeah.
Like I made some rocks, these like little tiny rocks, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the first what is it? I think the first week it got 700 downloads or something like that.
That's awesome.
So that's the first week on these like kind of generic, just whatever rocks, you know what I mean? So I hopefully, my other models I'm going to release for free, they're going to be more interesting than just regular rocks, right?
Well, what's kind of neat about those rocks is like if you've like I just played Warcry recently, and like the cover that's that size has usually got spikes over top of it, so you can't go through it, like you can't traverse over it. But like it's not even cover really; it's more of just like an obstacle in your way. But like those rocks don't have anything spiky on them, so there isn't like. You could argue that they have like their own gameplay usage where they're like a more of a mild obstacle, like something you can traverse over, but is also like you can't stand there. It's not in your way, and it costs a little bit of movement for you to like get around it and stuff.
Well, my idea of making those rocks was these stones or whatever was just like make something that you could use it in any tabletop game, right?
Mm-hmm.
If it's a war game, it could be used easily for line of sight, and if it was for Dungeons and Dragons, you can put it in your dungeon for a little bit of cover and line of sight or whatever, So you can easily use it in a fantasy based, or easily use it in a sci-fi base, or even World War II sim,
Yeah,
stuff like that. Yeah, that's about it. It's weird, man. I go through these like ups and downs where it's like, oh man, I'm gonna do great, and then like I'll talk to you about this, and then like the idea of the idea of failure is like, oh my god, this could just all not work out, and and then I think about what Pete and Sam say on One Fantastic Week, where it's like, this is how you run a successful Kickstarter. You gotta have a bunch of followers, and you do that for 2 years, and then you do it, and then you have to have a website and all that jazz. And I was just, I don't know what I was thinking. I got greedy. I was like, but I saw the other Kickstarters of sci-fi stuff, and I was like, I could do just as good or better than what these people are offering, and so I kind of. It was kind of like almost like I made like a bet to myself in a weird way. You know what I mean? Where it's like I saw the models and I made a bet to myself. I wrote a story for myself. Was like I could do better or just as good as these Kickstarters that are out. And then I just dived into it. And then when I dived into it, then like of course those ideas, I was thinking about what Sam and Pete were saying, and just other Kickstarters and other people, how to go about it properly. And then those set it in. But then I was already in it too deep, and I was just like, I just kept going. And then you were like, I told you, I was like, I think I'm making this thing too big. And then you were like, just make it smaller. And I was like, okay. And I just kept going.
Still,
and, now
quick.
I'm
still like, yeah, it's.
I don't think it's that big compared to
a lot of content in there for sure. I mean, you kept adding to it.
Some people have like over 100 pieces.
Yeah, some of those are, but like those ones, what I think you have up on those ones is that a lot of time it's like a library of assets that one person has like collected or bought and paid for, and it's like it's a random assortment of artists, and the style is all over the place.
Yeah, I'm just one artist.
Yeah, so you've got a really cohesive style, and the pieces all fit together. You don't have like, you're not throwing trees in there and like random kind of stuff. So it's a very like focused set of models, I think, which is really cool. And I think, I don't know, I feel like that's the direction you want to go in. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe people want like a library of just a random bag of just stuff. But
I don't know. Well,
You know?
what I've learned through reading that book there of what's it called again? Marketing.
Yeah.
All marketers are storytellers. It's like in the title, it's I'm just trying to tell a story, and then hopefully that story is interesting enough where people will tell themselves that story and they'll believe my story, and they'll you know partake in the story by pledging to the Kickstarter. So yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to tell a story, then hopefully make a career out of telling different little stories through my creations. So
Yeah, man. Have you done any writing, like actual like storytelling, or are you?
actual storytelling. Not yet, but I do have to do that. I do have to make a little kind of like a little paragraph of like what's the shtick, like what's going on this District 0012. I do have an idea of that, but it's not on paper or anything like that. Which is like I said, like after the modeling, like that's like one of the things I got to do is like write a little whatever. I'll probably get it proofwritten by some of my designer friends. You know, yeah, that's about it. And then the rendering, just a bunch of rendering I got to do, and then like got to show off like what I'm offering. You know, and because I do want to change up my stretch goal page I had. I do want to change it up a bit, actually.
Oh, I haven't really checked out your page since you brought it up maybe on here a few weeks ago.
Yeah, but because before it was like an upgrade thing, right? Where it's where it was like it showed like an existing model that you can get, and then if you back it, it's like it's like an upgrade. But then I was like thinking like in my head it makes sense, but then I was like thinking like, well, is that going to make sense for everybody? And I think no, it's not. And then I'll have to make a disclaimer explaining it, or I should just have it as an unlock thing instead.
Never hurts. Yeah, never hurts to explain a little bit more somewhere.
Or simplify it, right?
Yeah.
So I think I'm just going to simplify it and just make it as unlocks instead of as this upgrade thing. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that's that for that, I guess.
What's an example of an upgrade of an item?
Well, here, I guess I'll just show you. I gotta share screen, eh? Share screen.
Do you need me to click any buttons for this to happen?
No.
Oh wait, maybe I do.
Am I sharing right now?
Yeah.
Okay. So as you can see, there's like
more scrap.
Yeah. So it's like this is the scrap, and then it's like it's like something like this, and then you get an upgrade version of that where it's like similar but different kind of thing. And I think I don't know. It just and then maybe someone might get confused where it's like, wait a second. So does that mean I don't get these things and it just gets upgraded to something different, or people are confused or something? You know what I mean? Like I just want to make it a lot more simple. And I think also what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a silhouette of the existing model. Like for this guy, there'll be an existing little silhouette in here of the different model to kind of I don't know, entice.
Yeah, because what you want to say like is that these things that are getting added, they're sort of relate to the item on the left, right? Like it's a classification.
That's what I was thinking in my head, but I don't think that's I don't know. I don't think that's a good. I don't think it adds. I think it just hurts.
I think that's why you had that plus sign at first, right?
Yeah. But then the idea of the plus sign was like, wait, am I getting this and this mystery thing, right? Because that's what the plus.
That's right.
Oh no, I think I had an equal sign.
Oh, an equal sign.
Yeah. I had an equal sign.
Well, maybe a plus sign is what you want then, because like plus sign doesn't say upgrade to me. It says
no, but the plus sign means like this thing plus this thing, right? So if I'm showing off an old model, it's like there's a little bit of hesitant where it's like, well, what do you mean plus this, right? It should, a plus means it's an add-on, right? So
Yeah.
so I can't have a plus. So it's just better to have it as a little box with that has a little lock symbol, little question marks, and then a mystery silhouette of the product, the thing that unlock, and then have the name under it, and then when it gets unlocked, then have a JPEG of the existing model to show up, and then have a little scratch out of that tier and say unlocked. Just like everybody else. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. There's no people can email me and ask questions or send me messages like, I don't understand this thing. Does this mean, you know what I mean? Like, it's just,
Yeah.
because I could see people messaging me and being like, I don't understand this thing. And like the fact that, let's say someone is about to like back the Kickstarter and they see that the tier, the stretch goals, and they're like, I don't understand this, like this upgrade thing. And then they send a message to me and I don't get to it right away. And then they just forget about the Kickstarter and like, whatever. I don't really care. You know what I mean?
Because you have to
lose interest
before they'll
yeah.
back.
Yeah, I need to like get their attention like that. You know what I mean? Like it has to be like in like a couple seconds, and I can't leave any little excuses or doubt of when they're scrolling upwards and going down the page and looking at stuff. I can't leave any doubt or any questions up, right? Because even though there'll be questions, but if I can have less of that, that means the potential backer will be well. In my head, this what I think as a backer. Like I've only backed one Kickstarter in my life, and the reason why I backed it because there was a lot of information, there was a lot of pictures, and there was a lot of like right away. It was like very direct and very clear of like what he's offering, and then what he was offering for his stretch goals and little questionnaire stuff. I kept going, you know what I mean? It was like kind of all there if I wanted to look at it. So
well, usually these kind of projects have like a frequently asked questions page, and like it doesn't mean that somebody necessarily needs to be emailing you and asking you these questions repeatedly before you could populate this page with some questions and answers. But maybe that tier is like the kind of thing you want to include, and you have a little like question on an answer on is like the reward. Reward tiers and exactly how that works, explained beyond just like a little graphic. So there's probably a lot of things we could go through and just have a look at and say, okay, so how soon after I back this will I get my models, and just other what sort of questions, if you were going to buy this thing, would you have that may make it easier for you to feel good about like backing this project, and that it's like clear and what you're going to get and when you're going to get it, and treat it like really like a pre-order and make the customer feel nurtured.
Well, what I want to try to do is I want people to see it, and I want people to be like, oh wow, this is very professional. It feels like there's a team behind this, where it's just one person, you know what I mean? Where it's like I'm trying to almost like do a song and dance. I'm trying to make a big production with a small budget, essentially. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to do all the movie magic and whatnot, and all the bells and whistles, and make it so it's kind of a little like. Actually, I went on my Instagram last night, and I started deleting some posts that weren't coherent. Like I had a post talking about that was just like a picture of my plaque I got from working on PVZ.
Yeah,
I was like, this has nothing to do with my like what I'm doing. I was like, I got rid of it, and I went down. I looked at a couple other ones. I just got rid of them because it was like not the prime focus of it. And
I want to do this exact same thing, man. I've been thinking about it. I just haven't sat down and actually done it. But there's tons of shit I could just like stuff that should be just like a story that like comes and goes and it doesn't hang out on your wall forever. Yeah, like deleting that, Let it go.
Well, I guess that's what I guess Insta Stories is, right?
Yeah, stuff
that's what that's for. Yeah,
you don't want it to be on your wall forever. That's the way. I didn't realize that at the time, but I think that's the way to
Well, it makes sense, right? Because Sam from One Fantastic Week, he talks about this, where he was saying like you got to make sure pretty much all your posts are coherent, because that's what people are going to follow you for, right? They don't want to follow Sam the personality. They want or Antoine's life. They want to follow Forbidden Prince work and what he's making and what he's going to do next. Like that's what they want. That's who you want, right? Because those are potential people you can potential patrons, people that will get excited of your work and help out and talk about it and be a part of like the little community you want to generate, right?
Yeah, and it's like it's kind of funneling you into the way it's sort of designed. Like when you make a post that has like hashtags and whatever, like that's discoverable work. Like that's the way it's supposed to be treated. Like somebody scrolling down their feed who's like got whatever hashtag in there that matches up with your image, and then they stumble onto it and they're like, oh, look at this. This looks great. I'm going to follow this person because they make great stuff. Once you've got that person, or once like you found that project on the other side, like once you found that project that you're like, or that person or that artist who you're really into, and you're like, I'm going to follow this person. At that point, then you're exposed to their like story feed, where you do see the behind the scenes and like maybe the not so like finished, rendered juicy image thing, but you're seeing a bit of like their process or like some sketches, what their thoughts are.
Yeah.
And then it's more like that's who you want to see that stuff anyways. Like people like stumbling onto, maybe your process or some sketches of yours, they're not going to just be hooked on that, they're hooked on your work, and then they want to see more of you, they're willing to, they have more patience.
It comes down to what I was saying at the beginning, where it's like, do the thing that will like kind of get you to the dance, right? Where it's you're showing, well, like every artist has this where like, I have these great ideas and I think it'll be really awesome to show people and blah, blah. But the thing is that the key word, you got to show people, right?
Yeah.
And just like an athlete shows his performance and gets rewarded on that performance, an artist has to show what he got. You can't just sit in your own head, in your own little mental space, in your own little room with your pictures and your ideas around you that are not out in reality, right? Nothing will happen to it. The only way that your aspirations can be fulfilled is you got to act on them. So, and that happens to a lot of artists, I think. Like, it happened to me for most of my life, where it's like you have this idea and then you're trying to like get it out, and then it doesn't really work, or you kind of stop working on it and you just let it fall to the side, and then nothing comes from it. And when nothing comes from it, there's nothing to really learn from it. So that's why I've said this before. Like, even if this Kickstarter is a failure, I've learned so much on it, and my skill has improved so much on it, to the point where it's like, financially, if it's a failure, that's like whatever. But I'm becoming better because of it, because it's coming out in the world. It's coming out there, right? So once again, making an analogy towards athletes. If you're not good and you go to a competition, that's great, because that means you need to go back to the drawing board or figure out what you're doing wrong or what you could do right, or where you are doing good and you can maybe focus on that a little bit more to be better, right? So it's kind of like Kickstarter and Instagram, or trying to sell your work and stuff like that. Think about that as maybe like, I guess, you're competing with yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Went on a bit of rant there.
Yeah, it's like one of those. It's more like if you're going to compare it to a sport, it's more like figure skating or like,
like dance or something.
Some technical shit happening for sure, but it's still it's still a weird like judge on your taste and your your performance or whatever.
Yeah,
not, I don't know. It's a weird beauty pageant, but like at the same time, yeah, man, I don't know. It's like I watched just like a small documentary on the Ninja Turtles thing on the Netflix, the toys thing.
Yeah.
Like they had like so many people did not believe in the Ninja Turtles before it fucking exploded.
Are you serious?
Yeah, like
Makes sense.
Everyone was afraid, they're green, like nobody likes turtles, like what, like because
It's true. Turtles are lame.
you didn't have this abstract like image of what a Ninja Turtle is, like this jacked, like, mutant Ninja Turtle cool looking thing. Like that image wasn't in people's heads at first. All they knew of turtles were like these really slow, like kind of meager little creatures that like their legs and arms they look like old grandpas, and they just don't seem like a very cool creature, right? To base a toy off of. But man, yeah. So it's like it was a hard time to like win that beauty pageant for them. But when finally somebody, was just like, yeah, this could be kind of cool, and then kind of rolled the dice on it, it was like, damn, that was like, it exploded. So it's that failure thing. It's getting through that, like, that hump of like, just because one person or some people like were really not into what you're doing, it can be really demoralizing. But yeah, it doesn't.
Yeah,
really
but if you fail, then there's a lot of different scenarios that can be against you. But for the most part, it could be that you're just not ready yet. You know what I mean? Like the world is just not ready for this thing, or like you're not ready for this thing. And the same, like I said, it comes to like competition, right? Let's say you're a miniature painter that paints Warhammer figures for competition, and you suck, and you never get a podium place, or you never get runner up or anything. Well, it just means you suck, but that's okay, because if you really want this, then that means you have something to, you got to keep going.
Yeah. But you could be doing it for like, you could have been doing it for like 10, 15 years and still lose that competition. You don't suck. You've got the skills, but, there's a judge up there or a panel of judges who are, they've got to pick somebody, right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of people who don't suck who still don't win.
I don't know about that. Well, the thing is, like I said, like it's it could be that you're just not made out for this thing. You're just not ready. It's kind of harsh, but it kind of plays truth. You know what I mean?
But would you say that to in fighting, when you lose the title fight, like you're still fucking amazing?
Oh yeah, you're still a top contender.
Mm-hmm.
There has been people in the past that have lost the title and regain it. We've seen that happen just recently in boxing. Anthony Joshua versus Ortiz 2. Yeah. Anthony Joshua put on a clinic, just feeding jabs to Ortiz like it was quesadillas. And he won all his titles back, right?
Yeah, that's weird that all the titles are just. But like Ortiz, he could have very easily been one of those guys who's a great fighter. I mean,
no, but this is the thing. He is a good fighter, though. He is.
He is, yeah.
But he's not the number one.
No.
You know what I mean? Well, now he's not the number one. He just lost, right?
Yeah. But then there's like fighters out there, and sorry if you don't watch fighting, but there's like a guy named Anthony Rumble Johnson. He's just a big, scary dude. And
he's had the title before.
No, he hasn't. He's never had the title.
Has he had the Pride title at all, or no?
I don't think so. Maybe.
I think you're right.
No, anyway. But I just love watching his fights. And, there's been plenty of people, like when I compare him to other champions, like I would way rather watch one of his fights than pretty much any champion at 205. It's just like lightning in a bottle, that guy. And,
I know what you're trying to say, where there's an audience for people. You know what I mean? There's outliers where if it's their character, or if it's what they offer is something that's different and it's not in the realm of competition, right? Well, what I mean by competition, I don't always mean I guess the analogy of like a painting competition is wrong, because like what you're trying to do as an artist, I guess, is you're trying to like find yourself with your art, and then hopefully people will see it and be like, hey, that's cool, I would like that in my life, and they're buying kind of like a part of you, right? Because that's the easy part, because if you can find who the hell you are or like what you really want to do, then it's like then you'll never go out of business, right? Because it's like that's it, you own all the stock. I think Sam said this.
Yeah.
You own all the stock in your company, which is Alex company and Antoine company.
For sure. Yeah. It's like it's less about winning and more about finding your audience, I think. And
yeah, but that's winning though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is winning for sure. But winning is like not a goal that's just like winning in that definition is 3 or 4 steps removed from where we are right now. So it's like really the goal should be the next step in front of you. Even like if you want to be like, we've been on the path of like becoming a video game artist. You can't just start from zero and say, okay, I'm going to
I did do that.
6 months from now, I'm going to be a video game artist. You have like your first goal has to be to like acquire some level of training. Maybe your first goal should be to like, get your skills to a point where you can contribute to like some kind of project as a volunteer or something like that. Like you're not just going to dive into it. I mean, maybe some people have, I'm sure some people have, or were able to like maybe their first job and I don't know, they've by some miracle pick it up really quickly or something like that. But most people I know have like had a pretty rough go at the start. It's like there's some steps in between, not having the skills starting out to being like a competent member of a game team. But it's identifying those goals, those micro goals on the way, and then checking those off and hitting those.
Yeah, but that kind of goes back to what I was saying kind of before, where you won't get the job because you're not ready, right? So you got to show a level of skill, you got to show a level of competence or of whatnot to get the job, right? Like if you want to work, me working at EA or working at Fathom or other companies, whatever. There's you got to show something where it's like, hey, this person, we trust this person to do the job. And I think if you can put the same premise towards your personal work, where people can be kind of like, hey, this person, I like his job, what he's doing right now, like what he's putting out in the world. And it's kind of like, I don't know, it's like a mini contract.
Well, in theory, it should be easier, you would think, because like an art director, like when you're, like what we were describing, you got to show that you can do the work to a team. And the art director is the one who's kind of being the judge as to whether you're ready or not. Like the art director looks at art for a living every day in and day out. That's what they're paid to do. That's their wheelhouse. So they're going to notice flaws that the average like Kickstarter backer isn't going to notice. So like it should be easier for you to like acquire an audience, that isn't art directors, I would think.
Well, maybe we can put it towards the story idea instead. Because so the story idea for an art director is this person, can I work with this person? Like, does this person have skills? And then does this person have a personality that I can work, that can be good for the team? And I think the other thing about doing your own Kickstarter or doing all that stuff, I think the biggest hurdle, it will probably be getting the work in front of people's eyes. You know what I mean? I think that's like Tom McFarlane. Is Tom McFarlane the guy that does Spawn? He's the guy that does Spawn, right? Yeah. He said this thing where it's like, he's like, hey, the saying. He's an old guy. He's like, hey, the saying, if you build it, they'll come. He's like, that's total bullshit. What you got to do, you got to build it, and you got to put it in front of the people that you want to see it. That's what you got to do. And I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense, because like I can build stuff, as much stuff as I want, and nobody is going to hear a peep out of it. But if I make it and I shove it in people's faces, and I put it on the forums, I put it on Instagram, I put the proper hashtags, and I communicate with that, I try to interact with that community, and you put it in front of them, that's sooner or later people are going to take notice. Like if that's the like the avenue you're curving into, you know what I mean?
Yeah, somewhere out there, there's like somebody searching the forum right now for the kind of work that you're about to make. Like you haven't made yet. And it's like bridging that gap and finding all those people and like creating this like relationship that's like mutually.
If you do it enough, it starts, stacking, right? And it's like what I was talking about at the beginning of this podcast about doing something
thing in the morning or whatever.
Yeah, and so it stacks. It's like the same.
Yeah.
But think about it in like months and months and months instead of just one day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's what kills people.
Seth Godin says that, start with 5. If those 5 really passionate people.
Yeah.
Whatever was it? I don't know what the number was, but like finding that pocket of the really super passionate folks.
Yeah.
And instead of marketing to them, the masses, you're marketing to like this laser focused can be as little as under 5 people.
Yeah. And I think that's really hard because you get caught up in all the gobbledygook of what other people are doing. And then you start second guessing yourself and you're like, oh, should I be doing this instead? Or should I be doing that instead? And then what happens is you just spread yourself thin and then you just become another cookie. We talked about this last week, right? About Metallica. When Metallica came out, there was like 50 other bands that sounded like Metallica.
Yeah. There was space.
There was space. And they could make a little bit of money, but they never survived. You know what I mean? They're just like a little pop, little spritz, like, like little bit of money, made a couple albums, maybe toured around America a bit, maybe in Europe, maybe. And then they just kind of disappeared, right? And who didn't disappear and kept going? That was Metallica. I'm not comparing myself to Metallica, but if you kind of shoot for that, I think you'll have a better and longer success. And that's what every person in a creative field wants. They want to like do it for the rest of their lives, right?
Yeah. They want to just be able to do it more, spend more of the goal. I think is like, okay, how much of my time can I maximize to be like creating this stuff?
Yeah.
Like how many hours per week is ideal? It'd be nice to be able to say that, it's like 40 hours or something like that.
That's not true. 40 hours of actual artwork. No, if you do, then you're not doing anything else. You're not like taking renders for your Instagram or like answering questions when someone asks you a question. Like I can only imagine, like if I get a little bit of success and people start messaging me and asking me questions, and I have to start managing a Patreon and also a website and whatnot. You know what I mean? There's so much little things like that. You know what I mean? Because
some of that I think is still like taking renders for your.
Are you saying that's like I
still find that like that's a thing
that's work.
That's not fulfilling to do.
Yeah.
Like some people like creating a collage, for example, and like that's their jam. And I think making those kind of pages is sort of a similar activity. But the fact that you're like answering emails for your business instead of like
working
at 7-Eleven or something, like that's like part of the goal too. Like
I know that, but wouldn't it be nice if we could just like work on our projects and not have to deal with all that other stuff, right?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, like Duncan Shadow, right? He's like the pinnacle of this. He models things, puts it into a Dropbox, and then that's kind of it. I mean, he's got to communicate with his patrons and stuff.
Yeah, he might have a girlfriend or a wife that maybe helps him with some of that stuff. Who knows? Or a partner or something. Yeah. Or I think it's all him, to be honest.
I just can't think of anybody who has less overhead this overhead baggage that comes with doing art to get it out to people and to just facilitate creating more of it. Yeah, that's the balance that you're after.
Yeah, I'm sure he gets plenty of emails he has to answer, and there's all the legal things for running your own business in the UK. He's from the UK, I believe.
Oh yeah.
Um, you know.
Hey, apparently we're on at a decent time in the UK. One day, dude, we should maybe Duncan Shadow will chat with us.
Hey, he follows me, so maybe I can.
Really? There you go.
He follows me on the grams, so maybe I can rub some shoulders with him. I always say nice things about his work because I do really like his work.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe one of these days we could have him on the podcast. Don't get ahead of yourself. We've only done 30 of these things. Is this 30? No, episode.
I don't even think it's number 30.
It's episode. 20.
I called it 24 or something.
Are you sure? Okay, I trust you.
I don't know. Dude,
yeah.
I'm gonna change that as soon as I upload it to YouTube and see what the last video's number.
Got to check it. We're done here, dude. Or you got anything else you want to add or anything like that, or?
No, man. No, I didn't come in really loaded with much of anything.
Me either.
I just wanted to talk about, I guess, my how difficult it is. Still hard to find the time, and maybe the answer is just waking up early and.
Yeah, bro. It's the way I like to see it. I like to think it as like a blacksmith. And when I wake up early, it's like getting the furnace going. You know what I mean? It's like getting the bellows going. And when I'm hammering away at the steel, everybody's sleeping. And like I'm preparing for war. You know what I mean? I'm building the swords and axes and shields, and like I'm getting ready, and everybody's sound asleep and they're not ready. That's the way I like to see it. As nerdy as that sounds, that's the way I see it. Is I'm a blacksmith, but I'm actually making models for. I know every boy has, if they ever saw like that reality TV show, Forged in Fire or whatever, where they make swords or whatever, or just seen a blacksmith in a movie or whatever. Every boy's been like, oh, I want to do that. Yeah, it has to be. Every kid has to have that thought at least once. Yeah. Like back in the day when there were way less professions, and like you have to choose between being like a mason or a blacksmith or like a farmer, I guess. Well, dude, you got to be pretty much born into those things.
You got to what?
You got to be pretty much born into those things, right?
Yeah, you need your dad to like teach you from a young age.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyway, my dad worked at Ducks Unlimited, so it's the company.
That would be crazy if I have kids and I like teach them how to model and stuff, and they start running my business modeling. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, right.
That'd be weird, right?
They take on the Forbidden Prince name.
The business, right?
Yeah, for sure. It's like I don't know, when you see those law firms where it's like Johnson, Johnson and Johnson, and it's like the father, the grandpa, the dad, and the son, and
they're all named Johnson.
Yeah.
What a bunch of assholes. I like my name so much, I'm gonna name my kid. And then that kid's like, I like my name so much, I'm gonna name my kid my name. Yeah, that's what that is. Anyways, we should close this down. So,
yeah. All right. Where can I find you, Antoine? When I'm not, if it's not Tuesday at 7 a.m.
Well, let's first talk about. Sorry, not talk. First, thank you for joining another episode of Playing the Artist. If you want to help out the show, what would be appreciated is if you give a little subscribe and maybe even hit the bell icon so you can be reminded 7 o'clock in the morning to watch us. Mm-hmm. Plugs. And if you want, like Alex was saying, if you want to find me and see what I do, actually, you can go to Forbidden Prints on Thingiverse if you want to download free models for your local 3D printer, or if you just want to check out some of my work, it's just Forbidden Prints on Instagram, but it's Forbidden_Prints on Instagram. I got a Twitter, it's just Forbidden Prints. And if you want to look at my old work, what I used to do at EA and stuff like that, you could just go to ArtStation and just type in my name right here, and I'll show up on ArtStation. Alex, where can we find you?
Yeah, right now Facebook is the place. I don't have a like a dedicated website. Facebook, Tiger Skull RPG, all one word. You'll find a page called Dungeons and Tigers, and that's kind of where I keep the latest and greatest, the latest and okayest work that comes out. I'm trying to post every week now, because what else? Why not? And then you can put the same thing into Instagram too, or just click the links in the description. That's the easiest way because nobody likes to type anything. I sure don't. And I think there's a Thingiverse link down there too. I don't have as many models as Antoine does, but I've uploaded a few characters and stuff.
Don't do that. Don't play yourself down.
Well, I don't have as many things on there as you do.
Yeah, you don't have to mention it. You just have to say, "Hey, I got some models too. You just check it out."
All right. Well, there you go.
That's it. Okay. I'll see you in the next one. Big kiss. Mwah.
Yeah, later, bud.